Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Progetto 46. It's the Tier 8 Italian auto reloader medium. It's located on the southwest spawn of Live Oaks, and it's under the command of Knopnik. Yes, he's come back from OLIMP. He's sent us another replay, and he's got a 2 marked Progetto. This should be a bit of fun. Game on. Well, as you know, 90mm gun, which is normally capable of doing 240 alpha, penetrating 212 with standard ammo, but Knopnik's actually loaded everything's premium 259mm of pen, because he's actually trying to 3-mark it. And when you're trying to 3-mark a tank like this, you need to make sure that every shot counts on the enemy and does maximum damage. Because after all, you want as much damage and you want to be consistent as you can on getting that damage, otherwise you miss out on your mark. You've got to hit that average, that golden average that allows you to 3-mark a vehicle. Okay, our EBR Hotchkiss found their Progetto, and it looks like he's lost a fair bit of hit points already. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes down very shortly. He's down to a quarter of his health. The enemy Progetto has actually gone between the buildings. Knopnik's waiting for somebody to pop up. He's close enough that he might actually see one of the enemy tanks. That Progetto just took a hit. He's lost a quarter of his hit points. So it was probably one of the big guys who actually hit him. And now we've got an AMX 1375 coming close. He has to do something about this. He can't let that guy get too close. And he's auto-reloaded his first shell. As you know, auto-reloaders, they tend to reload differing amounts or times on each shell, depending on how many shells you actually fire. So the golden amount to actually reload or fire is only 2 shells at any one time, and then let those reload. Because if you have to reload 3, you actually reduce your DPM to such an extent, it actually makes it worse. Oh my gum, he bounced around from that enemy Progetto, but he put one into him as well. So he picked up 237, which is a low roll or a high roll? I think it's a high roll. It is? No, it's a low roll, what am I saying? But only by 3 hit points. And the enemy Progetto's just gone down, so he's out the equation. We found out a number of other enemy tanks, including another Progetto. He dies very quickly, but he was spotted, so he needs to get into cover quick. There's likely to be an enemy tank behind that building, but he's probably hiding at the moment. It's very unusual not to find a tank destroyer or somebody sitting in this corner, and they're not there. So obviously we've got a AMX AC 46 or 48. He pulled back to try and get that one using the bush mechanic, and it worked. But he can't get another shot because he's actually gone below the ridge line. We might get a shot. Yes, we got the Biz 44, but did he see us? No, he didn't. We're far enough away that he couldn't actually see us. And we get another one in. The enemy Arty's been spotted. It's an M12? It is an M12. He takes 1 round and he's out the game with the next shot, but that's 3. No, it's not 3, because he did have 1 spare after he reloaded. And because his crew is so good, they're actually reloading much, much faster than other ones would. So he's already got 1 kill. He's looking to try and see if he can get anyone else. Okay, well the enemy over there are actually in dire trouble. And now we've got an SMV CC56 and he's actually getting shots in. That last one didn't connect because the SMV pulled back quick when he realised he was in trouble. That guy's just the other side of the train. He tried to fire it under the wagons, but it didn't work. Doesn't always, especially if it's a bit of a snapshot. But now he's creeping up in the SMV CC. He's going to have 3 shells ready. He was spotted, so he has to dip down, because that CS-59 is probably going to try and get him. But he bounced 1 round, and that's amazing, because the armour on this vehicle isn't that hot. Puts 1 into the M4Y, M2Y rather. Didn't get that. You can see all the rounds are bouncing off his armour. He's getting a lot of luck with these shots because they should be penetrating the thin armor on the Progetto, but they're just not getting through. But the AMX AC-48 did get it in, and he had to burn his repair kit to get back down because he was tracked. If he'd stayed up, he would have been receiving more shells, possibly from that CS-59, who's just the other side of the tracks. It would be a good idea for him to stay a little lower, but he wants to shoot underneath the tracks himself on the enemy. Okay, now if he gets it right, yep, you can shoot through the tracks and that works. Got two in. Oh, and they both hit the weak spot, the viewports. Oh, but the UDES managed to get one on him. And in fact, actually, the UDES was firing from quite an angle, because you can see it actually cut across the front of his tank. He's now got another air hole at the front. Quite a big one at that. It's because the angle he's taking. Okay, can he get a shot in this M2Y? Yes, he can. One in. Couldn't get another. Oh, the UDES trying again. Quickly pops down that UDES 14.5. And then we've got a T-30 in the water there. But he's just drowned. Just gave up and drowned. Okay, we put two in. Can we go for another one? Well, he does go for the other one, even though he's now fully unloaded and has to reload, so he has to pull back. He was trying to get the kill desperately. And that time he does. And potentially that's 20% of the enemy hit pool, so it might be a high caliber. Potentially a high caliber, you don't guarantee it. Okay, they're now pushing the enemy. There's only 3 of them left. One of them's coming in from a different angle. He needs to deal with that one first. It's the UDES, the guy who actually has been hitting him really hard. And he gets him with one shot. Beautiful. 3 kills now. The AMX AC-48 is the last one. Oh, and Arty finishes him off. Which means now there's only one left. It's the Scorpion, and here he is. And we're just going to ram kill him. If we run out of shells, you are going to die. And the Arty gets him instead. Oh dear, it's an early bath. That was an exciting end to that battle. Yeah, the Scorpion got one round into him as he was coming towards him, but he'd used up all his rounds. He had nothing left to give, but the Arty, the FB3805, was just so much quicker, and he'd lined up a shot. He knew that he could get one in, and even as the Scorpion was pulling back into the water, he knew he could get him, but so could Konopnik. He could have taken that kill if he'd rammed the guy while he was underwater, and yes, it would have been his, but no, the FB3805 gets there first. But it was a good game. It was an ace tanker game for Konopnik in the Progetto 46. He got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in the game. He got 7. He also got a Hand of God because he survived the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemy tanks or more, as well as a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate was 8,562 super unicum level, or what? Let's have a look at the team score. Top of the table, 4,395 hit points. The next highest scorer only had 2,799, and that was the UDES 14.5. The guy kept hitting him from odd angles and slicing huge holes across the front of his tank. The third highest damage went to the CC1 Mark II on his own team with 2,784. When it came to kills, it was the Striv K who got the most. He got 5 kills in that game, so that's 1/3 of the enemy team to him, whilst Konopnik managed 3 kills, and 2 kills went to the CC1 Mark II. And that's not bad, actually. In fact, he's got a funny name, actually. It's You Touch Me, Tra-La-La. What a name, that one. Okay. That's really weird. Anyway, yeah, so he was second when it came to kills. When it came to base XP, though, it was Konopnik. Yep, look at that. 1,485, a very good score. 929 went to the CC1 Mark II. and 810 went to the Striv K. At this sort of rate, if he carries on like this, I think it's almost a certainty he's going to have a 3 mark sometime in the next couple of days or so, if he keeps it up. Let's have a look at detail. 24 shots fired, 21 direct hits and 20 penetrations. Damage of 4,395 hit points. All of it, no, not all of it. Only 1,333 of it was at more than 300 meters. So he was doing some long-range shooting, but only about a bit or a third of whatever he was doing. 10 hits received from the enemy. 5 of them penetrated, 5 non-penetration. He was very lucky in this game because a lot of those shells should have penetrated the armor, because the armor on the Progetto is not that good. You'll see that in a short while when we do the armor profile. 1,270 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 10 enemy vehicles damaged, 3 killed, and 2,907 hit points of spotting assist. He earned 152,888 credits from the battle, but after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and remember he was using premium ammo throughout, he actually ended up with a profit of 36,086 credits profit, and 2,227 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 223 for the Springer premium vehicle. He took away 4,678 experience points altogether, so he's well on the way to getting his 3rd mark. Let's have a look at the armor profile for this vehicle. Oh, come on up. Okay, right, so you can see here that it doesn't have much. 60mm angled to get 82 on the front, 80mm on the lower plate angled to get 108. I think you can see why, even with the acute angle that UDES was firing, he was hitting the armor where he might have actually got a ricochet, but instead it cut straight through the armor, but it was only about 140, 150mm of armor that he was actually cutting through at the time. But he did manage to get through. You can see the side armor is only 50mm, and because it's basically slab-sided almost, he was going to get straight through. The turret's a little better. It's 60mm, but it's coming out an effective 100 there. And around the front of the turret, you've got 80mm, but again, it's so flat, it's so block-sided that the shells can get through. But he was actually bouncing rounds off the roof, because they hit the rounded part of the armor and it just ricocheted off. The weak spot, obviously, you can see here, the obvious one is the cupola, and that's only 60mm, so yes, you can get through that, but you should be able to get through the sides of the turrets as well, because if you look at those, they're 60mm, it's slab-sided, so it's going to be 60mm on the way in, and yes, it should get through. So on this part of the side of the armor, again, 30mm thick, so it's only giving 30mm protection, and at the rear, 20mm. So it's very, very weak armor indeed, and so it's a miracle that 5 shots bounced off this turret. One of them came in and bounced right off that angle. One of them came in and hit the side and bounced off, but if you saw the UDES, he cut straight across the front of the vehicle as Konopnik was pulling back, and it did slice straight in, so he did manage to get a fair bit of damage off that one. But this thing is vulnerable. Let's have a quick look at the live version. Yeah, you can see it's green all over because, yes, as far as they're concerned, with a 90mm round, you should go right through the armor on this thing, no problem whatsoever. So again, a miracle that he actually bounced rounds. Let's have a look at the modules. You can see driver up front on the right hand side, ammo rack right next door to him. So he was lucky actually, the shell cut straight through the front, missed the driver, missed the ammo rack, so that's why he was okay and it didn't explode. We've got the gunner on the right hand side in the turret, we've got the commander on the left hand side with that cupola, and he's also got the radio set there. The loader is actually directly behind the gunner, and he's got an ammo rack in the bustle, so you can take these out if you go for the bustle. You should be able to get through there. There's another ammo rack down below, as you can see, 2 of them actually. One up front near the driver, one underneath the turret bowl, and or turret basket, I should say. And of course the engine is sandwiched between 2 fuel tanks either side with the transmission behind because it's rear-wheel drive. So yes, there are plenty of things you can aim at if you want to make one of these go bang. If you aim for the front, remember this armor is thin, you should be able to get through that armor, and of course if you do hit the ammo rack, by aiming at the left-hand side of the vehicle there, you might get yourself a big bang. If you aim for the turret, you might bounce off there, but you'll more likely go through the turret and take out the commander if you aim to the left-hand side. And of course, as I say, you'll get the driver if you aim to the right-hand side of the front, and you could actually take out the gunner as well if you aim it high enough. But of course, it's more likely to bounce if you get this high angle here. So if you did hit the driver on the driver viewport area at the basically at the base of the turret, then you'll either get the driver or you'll get the gunner behind him. Anyway, that's where all the modules are for the Progetto 46. So this was an exciting battle. I'm pretty sure that Canopnic's going to come back with a 3-mark battle sometime in the next in the near future. At this rate, it won't be long. I'm thinking that one will be just as exciting as this one was. So please do send it in as soon as you've got it. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.